All right, folks, welcome back. This is JE Live. I am Jake Ellenbogen, and today we are basically starting off with great news. Steve Avila is going to finally start for the Rams. It feels like it's been a long time since that's happened. It has, because it was week 1 the last time Avila did start. So crazy stuff here. Finally, he's starting. Of course, there is some things on the other end. Omar Spates is not going to play. So we're going to see either Troy Reeder or we're going to see the promising UDFA Sean Dolak, who had a forced fumble that, let's just say, the officials totally got wrong last week. But it'll be between those two. And then it looks like Warren McClendon Jr. is back at right tackle. Rob Havenstein will be out. So the Rams will be missing one of their starters, but not 2 this time. So we'll see how that goes. But I'm excited to be back, man. I feel like I haven't done a live stream in a minute, and that might not be true, at least for the Rams. I mean, obviously, I've been doing Yankees live streams. That's all we do for the show. But we did a live stream, obviously, with LQ. That was earlier in the week. But aside from that, we really haven't done a live stream since October 3rd, guys. That was DTR, the recap with Alexis. So it's been a while, but I hope you guys are doing well. And yeah, I mean, I think it's gonna be interesting this week. I think there's a lot of things that the Rams can take advantage of with the Ravens. I mean, to start, the Ravens are the worst team in the red zone defensively. They give up the most passing touchdowns. I have, of course, covered this in the Ravens breakdown that I did. But man, it was great meeting all of you. I see people in here. Dewan, I see. Derek was sick at SoFi. Yeah, I feel that. I absolutely loved being at SoFi. I loved being with the roundtable guys. I love what the roundtable provided. I wish the game went differently, but hey, I had a great time, and it was nice meeting you guys, the people that I did meet, the people that I didn't meet, and I got plenty of DMs like, hey, Jake, I didn't meet you. Where were you? Don't worry. I'll be back December, Rams-Lions, and I'm going to bring my father. And I know a lot of people like my father because they know that obviously I get all this football acumen from him. And he's the reason I'm a Rams fan, and he hangs out in the comments section. So you guys have seen him. I'll be with Mr. Ellenbogen, Mr. E, as the fantasy football friends of mine call him. But I'll be with him in December. So it'll be Rams, Lions. Can't wait to be at that game. That'll be cool. I'll also be at the 49ers game in November. So obviously not at SoFi, but yeah, I am going to both of those games. Very rare that I ever do that. I never go to 3 games in a season, but here we are, kind of just living large, I guess, right? But I hope everyone is doing well. Before we get into the rest of this show, I just want to give a quick word to today's sponsor and the sponsor of the channel and the GOAT, Sleeper, because, man, Sleeper has an awesome deal right now. Not only do you get a deal for watching this and signing up using my code JKB, which also supports me, but you're also going to get a $20 free entry without deposit. So this is awesome. This gives you an opportunity to kind of roll the dice a little bit. You feeling frisky, go and throw 8 plays and just see what happens. You can go up to 100x payout on Sleeper, so you could turn that into quite the turnout. But be sure to check it out. Link is in the description below. Again, touchdowns, passing yards, receiving yards, sacks, fantasy points. I mean, receptions. There's so many different things that you can do on Sleeper. And it's not just that. They also have fantasy football. So, like regular fantasy football. I have my Dynasty League on there. The Scott Fishbowl League that I'm a part of is on there. I'm doing horrible in Scott Fishbowl League. Embarrassing. I'm like 3-7. But regardless, always, as always, I appreciate Sleeper for sponsoring the channel. All right. So, it's, you got that right. The record of going to, Rams games doesn't feel great right now, but I'll tell you this right now. Okay. I am not a believer in superstition. I am not, the Rams are 9-3 when I go to their games. They were 9-2 before, Thursday Night Football. But I feel really good about the Lions game. I feel really good about the 49ers game. I feel really good about this team. I don't know if I've ever seen a more talented team that the Rams have had where you have fans just giving up on the season. That will not be me. There's no reason for that to be me because I'm so high on this team and I feel so good about this team. So that's kind of where I'm at on that. But HD, thank you for the super here. How good a shot you think we have at the 1 seed? I think it's as good as any, okay? I understand losing the 49ers sucks, but you can go right that wrong by beating them in November, which I believe they'll do. As far as that goes, then the Eagles, right? Okay, then the Eagles could be a problem because you lost the tiebreaker to them as well, and you don't play them again. Well, here's the deal. I don't think the Eagles are that great. Now, I don't think the NFL is that great. I think this is a year where there's probably going to be about 6 to 7 teams that I would say will win the Super Bowl or could win the Super Bowl, and a lot of other are just pretenders. Now, it's important to remember because I think a lot of people look at the Rams losing to good teams. They look at the Rams losing to the Eagles and 49ers, and they say, who have they really beaten? And while I understand what you're trying to say there, at the same time, the Colts are the best team in the NFL right now, and the Rams did beat them. I don't care what anyone says about the Lions. I don't buy into them the way everyone else does. I think they're incredibly overrated. I have no idea why. You know what I've learned, guys? I've learned that it is better to lose week 1 than to lose in week 5 or week 6. Because if you lose in week 1, it doesn't matter if you get absolutely destroyed. If you lose in week 1, people forget about it. Case in point, look at the Lions. Oh, but Jake, the Lions scored 52 on the Bears. I don't care. But Jake, the Lions scored over 40 on the Browns. I don't care. But Jake, the Lions blew out the Bengals without Joe Burrow. I don't care. Oh, what about that Ravens game? Well, that Ravens game was a good win until we realized that the Ravens aren't who we thought they were. And the Rams do play them this week, and obviously I'm not trying to speak too early here because the Ravens could win this game. I'm not going to say that they can't. It's any given Sunday, but no Lamar Jackson is going to be significant. No Chidobe Awuzie is going to be significant. I think those two are huge, key and critical for this team. So I guess really what I'm getting at here, there are a lot of people that are just really bothered by the Rams losing the 49ers. I get it. I'm already over it. I was honestly over it not long after the game. I don't know why. Maybe I'm just numb. I don't know. I thought the Eagles game, even though I wasn't there, the Eagles game, both Eagles games were way more painful than the 49ers loss. But here's where it comes down to, okay? A lot of people in LA have to experience that 49ers loss. So, I get it. I feel for you. But don't let it go. Okay? Don't let this whole 49ers loss just go and destroy your enjoyment. Because what I'll tell you right now is that there are a lot of people that are looking at this loss against, I mean, say what you will. Like they'll call it the JV team, they'll call it the B team. I call it, hey, the 49ers played hard. They won the game. Good for them. But you don't get to tell me that we're playing against your B team when your team is always injured. You are who you are. I mean, if I had a $20 bill for every time the 49er fans will say, oh, it was against our B team or against our JV team. Guys, I don't know if you've been living under a rock, but the 49ers are always injured. That's not bad luck. That's not. It means their training staff isn't good. And if it's not the training staff, then it means whoever that they go after is brittle. At some point or another, we have to be honest with ourselves. You know, the 49ers had a great win, but I am so tired of hearing how, the Rams lost to their B team. Oh, it took overtime for their B team. They had wide receivers that are injured. By the way, these wide receivers have consistently been injured. Jawan Jennings is always dealing with an injury, right? Brandon Ayuk was out because he's always injured, right? Ricky Pearsall, this is not the first time he's been out. George Kittle, injuries. It's just like enough. Your team's always hurt. This is who your team is. Congrats. Mac Jones is better than Brock Purdy anyway. Like, why would you? If Brock Purdy played, the Rams would have won. No doubt. They would have gotten a turnover. Mac Jones didn't turn the ball over. So it's just silly at this point. Yeah, when isn't Bosa injured? Yeah, I mean, come on. This is what I mean. Like, obviously, feel for Bosa. Awful injury. But come on, guys. Like, really? Your team is always injured. That's not bad luck. That's just your training staff and the players that are on your team. They can't stay healthy. But here's the thing. I don't care that they lost to the B team, the C team, the D team, the practice squad. That's my favorite one. The practice squad. Yep, because the practice squad is 16 players and they totally just lost to a 16-man team. No, idiotic. I don't care. The bottom line is that the Rams have a chance to rectify that. They're going to go up against a banged-up Ravens team, but they still have to travel 3,000 miles out to go and get to Baltimore. They have to play on the road. They have to play a 10 a.m. game their time. So there is a trade-off here. It's not like the Rams are at SoFi Stadium. They get to chill out. It's not a short week, and the Ravens have to fly 3,000 miles away. No. The Rams have to fly 3,000 miles out. They knew this. They have to play in the cold, because I'll tell you right now, the Northeast is getting cold. That's why I'm in a turtleneck. Of course, I was in a turtleneck when it was 77 degrees out. I just get comfortable. I don't know. But, right, the Rams, it doesn't just end here. Doesn't just end here. The Rams also are going to have to play overseas in the UK against a very red-hot Jacksonville Jaguars team. So let's be honest here. You can sit here and say it's unacceptable that they lost to the 49ers. You can yell until you're blue in the face about the 49er game. That's already happened. I'm of the belief that it doesn't matter anymore. What's done is done. This team is 3-2. They should be 5-0. They've had issues, and everything, all things considered, the injuries they've been through, the special teams woes, all things considered, it took the final play of the game to beat the Rams. A fluke field goal block that you never see, 2 of them back to back for the Eagles. It took all of that for them to win in Philly. And the 49ers, it took overtime. And to be honest with you, there's no 49er fan that was comfortable at the end of that game when Matthew Stafford was throwing the ball over the field. The good news is you learn your lesson. That's what I just looked. Like, that's how I see it. The Rams learned their lesson. How do you learn your lesson if you keep escaping with wins in games that you don't play well in? This is the Rams' opportunity. Matthew Stafford is currently on pace to have his best season to date. 5,000 plus yards, 37 touchdowns, only 7 picks, and a passer rating of 107.3. He's getting rid of the ball quicker than ever, and the pass protection hasn't been what we were hoping. Well, Avila coming back, now the pass protection should be better. Now, I will say this past week, I think Diedish played his best game. But the Rams do find themselves at 3-2, knowing they should probably be 5-0. There's no doubt about that. I had the Rams 4-1 going into this week, but I had them losing to the Baltimore Ravens. Now without Lamar Jackson, I believe they're going to beat the Baltimore Ravens, which will put them at 4-2, exactly where I had them going into the Jaguars game before the season. So while, yes, it can feel like the sky is falling, it's important to remember where we stood. Every one of you, when you were watching my videos, and I was predicting the season, every one of you was like, I'll take the 4-2 or 5-2 to go into the bye. Will you still? Because guess what? I believe that's exactly where they're headed. 5-2 going into the bye week. Is that still acceptable? Now, I had the Rams losing to the 49ers before the season started, but not at SoFi. I had them losing in San Francisco. I had the Rams losing to the Eagles, and I had the Rams losing to the Ravens. But things changed. The Colts were way better than we expected them to be. The Texans weren't as good as we expected them to be, although that game was still tough. The 49ers were more banged up than we expected them to be, but at the same time, Brock Purdy looks worse than Mac Jones right now, so they were in better shape. The Eagles game was about what I expected, although I didn't expect the Eagles to look awful for most of the game. And last but not least, I thought the Ravens were going to be in the AFC Championship game. And while it's still early and they can turn it around, it's looking bleak here. If they lose this game, they'll be 1-5. It's going to be tough to get out of that hole. But that said, the Rams have what should be considered the MVP right now in Matthew Stafford through the first 5 games. They have one of the best players in football in Puka Nacua. They have a defense that looks dominant if you take away Thursday night, a great coaching staff that has been there, done that. There's no doubt in my mind that this Rams team, I believe them to be, they're going to win the next 2 games. And then they're going to go into the bye at 5-2. They're going to come out of it with a statement win against the Saints. They're going to go into San Francisco. They're going to avenge their earlier loss. They're only going to lose 1 to 2 more games the rest of the year. Here, and the reason why I say that is because you look at this team and the way Sean McVay, okay? The way Sean McVay has learned and has gotten his guys ready for the second half of the NFL season is impressive. The Rams are one of the best teams in all of football in second half of the season games. Like, they're dominant. And that's something that they actually struggled with in the Super Bowl season. So they've gotten better about that. Sean McVay has gotten better about that. The Rams are already learning so much about their team. And we went from complaining about Devontae Adams being overutilized to seeing Tutu Atwell put up over 160 yards the last 2 games. Jordan Whittington getting involved, and even Terrence Ferguson catching his first NFL pass. And the Rams, they learned from their mistakes. You know, they were dealt a bad deck early on with Matthew Stafford not being able to practice. They built a rapport. And in addition, you know, most of the offensive line, they were dealing with the injuries. Because I think people forget that. There were a lot of injuries in the offseason on the offensive line. Plus, their left tackle, who sat out all of training camp because he had blood clots. I think the biggest concern with the Rams right now is the kicking unit for me. The offense is able to move the ball down the field, what feels like at will, despite the offensive line being nowhere near what I thought it was going to be. And I think later on in the year, they're going to be really good. So through 5 games, if you're wondering where I stand on the Rams, I mean, they're right about where I said they would be, if you think about it. So they're way ahead of 2 years, the last 2 years. They made the playoffs in both of those years. And they're 3-2 this year. They're way ahead of where they were the last 2 years. I totally understand your record's your record. I get that, right? The record is what it is. It's who you are, all of that. But the Rams are a few dumb mistakes, bad calls, and just fluky shit away from being 5-0. They would be the only 5-0 team. I think, again, many freaked out because of who the Rams lost to. But let's say you're 3-2 and you reverse the 49ers loss into a win, but the Rams lose the Sunday before that game against the Colts. Now, it's the same record, guys, at 3-2, but are Rams fans as concerned then, or are they concerned more now? Because I'll tell you right now, it has more to do with who they lost to in the 49ers, the fact that you guys won that game so bad, and it's a rivalry game. It has way more to do with that than it does being 3-2. So I will say that all day, every day. If the Rams blew that game, they didn't come back and they lost that game to the Colts, but they beat the 49ers, there would be a positive feeling in the air right now. 3-2, that's a good record. Oh, yeah, the Colts are just legit. But now, because they lost to the 49ers who are banged up, and because it's the 49ers, now it's, I don't know about this team. I'm gonna wait till they prove it to me. I mean, I just think right now, there's so much going right for the Rams. 3-2, I'll take it. They should be 5-0, and I know that. But this season is not even close to over, and I am still just so impressed with what I've seen from Matthew Stafford, from Puka Nacua, from the defense up until this game. And look, watching that film, the defense failed because Chris Shula put them in position to fail. I don't really worry about the defense. Chris Shula called that game, and I said this so many times already, so I apologize, but he called that game like Mac Jones with Josh Allen. So, I don't know, man. I'm not worried. I see a lot of people that are concerned. I'm not in the least bit concerned. I think they go into Baltimore, they win a comfortable 31-20 affair, and then they beat the Jaguars to go into the bye. That's what I think. So, we shall see. I know there's some supers in here. Rams should run the ball down this week. 70-30 ratio thoughts. I mean, the Ravens are better at stopping the run. I think I just want to watch Matthew Stafford sling it all over the yard, but at the same time, running the ball would be better for Stafford's health. So, I don't know. Temple, I appreciate the super. I'll probably say this. The Rams are going to go pass happy in this game. CJ Stroud just threw 4 touchdowns. Okay? This is not CJ Stroud from his rookie year. This is a struggling CJ Stroud who has no offensive line to speak of. And he just threw 4 touchdowns against this defense. Now, as I mentioned in my video, if in case you guys didn't watch that, definitely check it out after the fact. What I mentioned in my video, because I want to be fair here, is also this is a different defense than what CJ Stroud saw. Okay? They already went out and they traded for a safety. And I really like the safety they got in Alohi Gilman. Then Kyle Hamilton, who didn't play last week, now he's ready to go. Marlon Humphrey, who didn't play last week, looks like he's ready to go. So it's already a way better secondary than was last week. But even still, this team has given up 12 touchdowns through the air. They're the worst red zone defense. They're averaging 3.8 touchdowns given up in the red zone. So I still think the Rams should be fine, but they are going to be throwing it around. They'll run it, though. They'll run it. Messiah Mitchell, thank you for the 5. I need to see Kyron have at least 18 carries. Yeah, I don't see why he can't get 18 in this game. I think we're going to see a sneaky Terrence Ferguson touchdown. But I feel like I've said that now every week, so who the hell knows, right? But I think we're going to see a sneaky Terrence Ferguson touchdown. And the rest you'll have to watch tonight, 9 p.m. Eastern time, Downtown Rams. Alexis and I will do our predictions there. Bold predictions, if you will. But my score prediction is 31-20. I'm very much excited to see more T-Ferg. Absolutely. Absolutely. Without question. So, chat, do you guys, what is the temperature in this room right now? What's the temperature? I'm not talking about in this office because I already know it's 110 degrees, or at least it feels that way. But in this room currently, what is the temperature on the Rams season? I'm going to drop a poll. I'm very curious. I'm going to see, what do you see from the 2025 Rams? Let's just take the temperature, shall we? We'll do... There we go. So, 2025 Rams, I got the Super Bowl, NFC title game, NFC divisional game, and I have wild card / no playoffs. So it seems like nobody thinks NFC divisional game. 32% so far have NFC title game. Well, this thing is just going to keep going up and up and up. Super Bowl, okay. So it's still, we got our pessimists in here. It's all good. That's fair. I guess, yeah. So it seems like people, we're on the same page for the most part. Yeah, Deuce Falco, that was way overdue. I still can't believe you weren't a mod. So consider that rectified. That was my bad. Aiden, we are doing DTR live today at 9 p.m. Eastern time. Okay, so that'll be scheduled. After this, I'll probably schedule it. So yeah, we're doing it. We are doing it. I see signed Jedrick Wills. You already know my thoughts on that. I'd take Jedrick Wills in a heartbeat. In a heartbeat. I just kind of feel like the Rams play down to anybody's level. It's not that they play down to bad teams. I guess that is what you're saying. Yeah, I mean, I think that they just keep teams in it. I don't. This team is nothing like the Lions. Because the Lions will run up the score for no reason. The Rams have a reason to score points, and they still won't do it. I feel like they get comfortable, and then I don't know what it is with Sean McVay. It's what my dad said, and I just can't get it out of my head. The idea that Sean McVay won't stick to what's working, he'll try and essentially be ready. He'll anticipate that a team is going to make a change and do whatever. And so he'll stop doing something and do something else. And even though he can continue to do that thing, they haven't been able to figure it out. He'll stop doing it before they even figure out. That's frustrating. All right, we have the final injury report. Rams, we got questionable Colby Parkinson with the concussion. Doubtful Omar Speights. We all know doubtful means out, basically. Rob Havenstein is doubtful. Cam Kinchins, Nate Landman, Tyler Higbee, they're all good to go. Puka Nacua and Alaric Jackson had a rest day. On the Ravens side of things, they will be without Chidobe Awuzie. That's a serious absence there. Dealing with a shoulder issue, Zay Flowers is questionable. He's probably going to play, but if he doesn't play, they're in trouble. Lamar Jackson's out. Emory Jones, the backup tackle, is out. He did practice in full all week, but they still ruled him out. Joseph Noteboom is going to play. So is Kyle Hamilton and Marlon Humphrey, who were full participants. Roger Rosengarten, who was dealing with a knee, is going to play. Patrick Ricard, the talented fullback, is out with a calf issue. Roquan Smith, their talented inside linebacker, dealing with a hamstring, didn't practice all week. He is out. Devontae Walker, dealing with an oblique. This kind of came up, and he actually did end up practicing today after being limited. He is out for this game. Ben Cleveland, their sixth man on the offensive line, he's going to be good to go, and so is Ronnie Stanley. So that means from left to right, we now know who their offensive line is going to be. So left tackle, it's going to be Ronnie Stanley. Left guard, Andrew Voorhees. Center, Tyler Linderbaum. Right guard, Daniel Falele. And right tackle, Roger Rosengarten. In case you're wondering what to make of those guys, Linderbaum and Stanley are the dominant run blockers. The rest are just, solid to okay. And as far as pass protection, pretty much all of them are good in pass protection. Stanley got off to a rough start, but it was probably because of the injury. But we know he can pass protect. Andrew Voorhees has been a breath of fresh air for them. Really solid. Tyler Linderbaum, I would say, is the weak link in the pass pro, but he's not bad. And Falele has taken a huge step forward. Roger Rosengarten's a really good pass protector. So, that's what we're looking at here when it comes to that. And I see Temple Hills Funk here with the 65 degrees at kickoff, 40% chance of rain. I feel like it always rains in Baltimore when they play. I don't know why, but it just feels that way. Kevin, thank you for the super chat. We get bullied in the secondary. Akello healthy, we win both games. Totally agree. Either Denzel Ward or some other high-quality physical former. Emmanuel still too small. Yeah, I get that. I mean, there's just not a lot of corners out there. We don't know if Denzel Ward would be traded. I'm going to say he wouldn't, but who knows? If he's available, I could see the Rams going after him. It feels like if the Rams go after a corner, they're not going to go like balls to the wall. And that's already been like reported. I forget who said it, but there was something out there that said don't expect the Rams to go after like a 20. I think it was Albert Breer. And he said, don't expect the Rams to have any Jalen Ramsey type move. So I think if we're looking at realistic here, as far as corner goes, I think I'm going to go back to Eric Stokes. I'm going to say Mike Jackson's in the mix, Eric Stokes. I think both of those guys, they're good zone fits. We saw Cordell Flott last night with the pick, basically sealed the game against the Eagles. Guys, I told you, Flott's legit. Greg Newsome was traded away to the Jaguars in a surprising turn of events. I didn't even know that Tyson Campbell was available. Alante Taylor from the Saints will probably be available. He's somebody to look out for. Reek Woolen with the Seahawks. Chidobe Awuzie with the Ravens. The Ravens, if they go 1-5, it's going to get really interesting, guys. It's going to get really interesting because if the Ravens do go 1-5, after this Rams game, it gets a little bit easier because they have the bye week. Then they have the Bears and the Dolphins. So let's just say, and I think the Bears, by the way, are a solid team. But let's say they go 1-5. They beat the Bears. They beat the Dolphins. They're 3-5 now. Lamar's back. Do they beat the Vikings in Minnesota? I don't know. Then you have the Browns and you have the Jets. Then you have the Bengals, the Steelers, the Bengals, the Patriots, the Packers, and the Steelers. So it's interesting because they don't have like a Detroit Lions schedule. They already got past the tough part of their, well, once they play the Rams, the toughest part of their season. But if the Ravens don't, let's just say this, if the Ravens don't look good, they don't turn it around, they lose that game to the Bears, they lose a stinker to the Dolphins, you're talking about 1-7. Well, now you're talking right around the trade deadline, which I'll get you guys exactly when the trade deadline is because I like to know things, right? So NFL trade deadline is, when is it? November 4th. Okay. This is tough. So the Ravens are 1-5. I think if they lose to the Bears or Dolphins and they pick up their 6th loss before the trade deadline, then they're open for business. I think the Rams could go after a Cheetah Awuzie. They could go after a Jair Alexander. They could go after a Marlon Humphrey. But that is that. That's what that would have to be. The 4th is right there, guys. That's not exactly a ton of time. That's why I don't like where I don't really like where the trade deadline is personally. I'm not the biggest fan of the trade deadline. Like I think it should be later in the year. And I think the NFL would want a more active trade deadline, so kind of don't understand why they wouldn't do that. But if you look at the teams right now, okay, you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 teams that have 1 loss or fewer. Okay. The Raiders, they have Eric Stokes. To me, the Rams should be all over Eric Stokes if he becomes available. Now, why would they trade him away? Because they're the Raiders. Right now, they look putrid. Their only win is against New England, by the way. They won week 1, 20-13. Since outplayed by the Chargers, 20-9, blown out by the Washington Commanders, 41-24, lost a close game to the Bears, 25-24, and then just lost 40-6. Like, the Raiders are going to be sellers, and they should. And Eric Stokes and Kyu Blu Kelly also with the Raiders. Keep in mind, the Rams did place a claim on him 2 years back. They didn't get him, but they did try to claim him. So that's interesting there. Yeah, I believe it was 2023 when he was former 5th-round pick from Baltimore, Stanford corner. But yeah, I think Eric Stokes, former 1st-round pick, I think it'd be a great fit for the Rams. I really do. It's a rental. Maybe you can bring him back. Like he's looked a lot better this year, I think. So still a young player, you know, and he's got decent size there at 6'1", $193. And like I said, he's a zone fit. So if you're looking at guys at the deadline, well, the Raiders should be sellers. Then you have the Saints. They're definitely going to be sellers. They're not winning this week against the Patriots. They might against Chicago. They're not winning against Tampa or the Rams. So there's going to be there's going to be what? 1, 2, 3 more, 4 more games for the Saints before the trade deadline. I expect him to lose 3 of the 4. That would put him at 2-7 going into the trade deadline. The Saints at corner have Alontae Taylor. They have Kool-Aid McKinstry, who I don't think they trade, Isaac Yiadom, who's out currently, and then they have Quincy Riley, who I believe he's a rookie, so they're not trading him. So Alontae Taylor becomes an interesting fit here. Taylor, Alvin Kamara becomes available. I don't think the Rams go after Alvin Kamara, but you can kind of see where I'm going at. So that's corner. Again, Raiders, Saints definitely should be selling. The Titans, they're going to get a win this week, I believe. They're going to lose to the Patriots. They're going to lose to the Colts. That would put them right there at 2-6. And the Chargers, that's kind of a toss-up. If they win that game, maybe they don't sell. If they lose that game, 2-7 looks rough. I could see them being sellers at the deadline. They already moved Jarvis Brownlee Jr. That was weird. Jalen Armour Davis is now starting, or expected to start with L'Jarius Sneed. Could they move Sneed? Could they move Jalen Armour Davis? That remains to be seen, but that's another team that could be very well trying to trade away a corner. Then you have the Browns, and the Browns, look, they've been competitive, man. They have a good defense, really good defense, impressive defense. They could have won against Minnesota. They could have beaten the Bengals. They got blown out by Baltimore, and they got blown out by the Lions. So, I don't know. I think Newsome is on the Jags now, and Campbell's on the Browns. I guess they could trade Ward or Campbell if it just goes really south. I mean, Campbell is, I believe he is in a contract year as well. So that's something to keep in mind. But yeah, they could do that. I'm not really sure where they go. I don't think they have a ton of guys. Martin Emerson Jr. is out for the season. That would have been a really nice. I like him a lot, but he tore his Achilles. So as far as the Browns, it's Denzel and it's Campbell, who they just got, and I don't know if any of them are available. Then you have the Miami Dolphins, and this is where we go back to Rasul Douglas. So you got Rasul Douglas, who's a veteran. You got Jack Jones, who they could have gone out and gotten anyway if they wanted him. Juju Brents, Storm Duck. I don't really see anybody outside of Rasul Douglas. And then the Ravens, who I mentioned already, 1-4. The Raiders, who I mentioned already. And then the Jets. And it's like, the Jets aren't trading Sauce Gardner. I hate to break it to you guys. Sauce Gardner will not be available. Brandon Stevens is overpaid. They don't really have anybody. So, unless they want to trade Azariah Thomas, but he's a rookie. So why would they want to do that? Jarvis Brownlee Jr., who they just acquired, why would they do that? So, yeah. And there are teams that are going to need corners. So, I don't know. This isn't a year that's just sprawling with tons of corners. Eric Stokes, Mike Jackson make a lot of sense, I think. I like Armour Davis. I like Alontae Taylor. Chidobe Awuzie would be a perfect fit if he was traded. Then you have a bunch of 2-win teams. And what are we looking at here? Like Dallas, they're probably better than their record. Chicago, probably better than their record. Atlanta, I just don't see many of these teams. Carolina is the only team at 2-3 that I could see potentially trading. The Bengals 2-3, I guess, they're pretty bad. They could trade Cam Taylor-Britt. They could trade DJ Turner II, who was a rookie in 2023. So, I mean, it'd be a little early, but they could do that. They could. So I guess we'll find out. We will find out. A-Dog, appreciate the 5. I was upset with the 49ers loss because I felt like he was going to run the ball. Why not do a jet sweep with Tutu, Atwell, or Puka? Very frustrating. Yeah, I know. I agree with you. Totally missed that opportunity. Not really sure what they were thinking there. But I appreciate the Superman. I hope all is well. I see your channel. You're killing it. You have tons of subscribers. So, always appreciate you popping in. Steve, yes, I had them going 13-4. I'm going to stay by that. I think they lose 2 more games the rest of the year. I know that sounds crazy. I told you guys, I'm wicked high on this team. And I didn't even think Stafford would look this good. I thought Stafford was going to look really good. I didn't think Stafford would look this good. And Alex, who's been a member for 38 months and a friend for much longer, appreciate you, man. Jake, 30 years old in Bogan tomorrow, y'all. Yes, I hit the big 30 tomorrow. That is right. It's funny. I totally forgot. It's like I'm having a party and like I remembered the event, but I forgot like it's actually my birthday tomorrow in a weird way. I don't know. But I do appreciate that. All love as always. And yeah. Thank you, Brian. We have a new member, Jeff. Appreciate you, Jeff, becoming a member. Shout out to you, supporting the channel further. Yeah, I love... My thing is, I do love the trade deadline. I love like movement. I love player personnel decisions, all of that. But I just don't know what we're going to get because I don't know who's available. Keep in mind, I'm just making projections of who's available. And I keep seeing Deonte Banks. Okay. Deonte Banks is not playing. Cordell Flott is playing over him. So I had Flott on the block, but maybe Deonte Banks is on the block. And when you look, Banks was drafted in 2023. He's been a little bit of a disappointment. Does he come into play here? I don't know. How many snaps has this dude played? I'm curious. I got to look this up. Now you got me wondering. Because I'm like, if he's played no snaps, I just don't know. Why would they trade him? Like, what would the Giants want? A receiver, probably. So the Rams, if they were trading for Deonte Banks, that would probably be like Jordan Whittington. You know what I mean? I'm not saying I would do that, but I'm saying that's probably what they would want. Because, like, why are you trading a corner? He's played 103 snaps, and he's by far the worst on the team. He's given up 154.2 passer rating. See, that's my issue, guys. That's my issue. I know he's a first-round pick. They already have this in Forbes. So that's just the reality of it, you know? Hey, thank you, Deuce. Appreciate that. Man, an orange, a 30. Appreciate you. Yeah, it'll be fun. I'm looking forward to it. I might go live tomorrow, just say hi, what's up. Typically Saturday, I don't even really work. Like I do, but I don't record videos. But I might. Well, I don't know if he's better than Forbes, guys. I mean, Deonte Banks, he's struggling. I'm not even going to mince words on it. He is struggling. Like, I don't think he's ever looked great in the NFL. I think maybe 2023. Okay, 2023, his passer rating when targeted was 84.7. Really good. Or solid. But 8 penalties. Not great. Then in 2024, 124.7 passer rating when targeted. 6 penalties. That's not good at all. And then this year, 154.2. So, I don't know. I personally, I'd be out on Deonte Banks. I would. I'm not against bringing in Asante Samuel Jr. if he passes a physical. I think it's time to call up AJ Green. I don't know why that hasn't been done yet, but I think it's time. So Asante Samuel Jr. was always looking for a mid-season deal. He is 26. I don't know if the Rams go that route. He doesn't feel like a Ram to me. I'd be happy, but I don't think they go that route. That's just me. I mean, I could be wrong. Jedrick Wills, they should go that route. But I think he said he was taking a year off from football. He wants to recover from his knee injury fully. So he plans to sit out all of 2025. Man, I wish like it'd be awesome if the Rams could sign him to a 2-year deal and be like, you know what, you want to sit out this year? Fine. But we get you next year. That would be cool. Thank you, Jack. I appreciate that. Yep, it's tomorrow. It's actually the same day as Steve Young. Random, I know, but I've known it because of backyard football back in the day. Chach, thank you. Appreciate it. Yeah, so hey, appreciate that, Jeff. Been watching you a few years, finally decided to sign in, talk about my Rams, my low-key, my favorite Ram right now, Cam Kinchins, 100-plus yard interception return against the Eagles, or excuse me, Seahawks. Good Lord, can't even read. Yeah, and you know what? Kinchins has been quiet. So is McCullough. They had more picks last year. I think we're going to start to see some picks. I do. We shall see, though. We shall see. Well, that I agree with. But Eric Stokes, I think he would be a really good fit. I like the way he's playing right now. He's actually playing really well right now. Edwin, thank you so much. Appreciate it. Yeah, I agree. That is an issue. Score projection is 31-20 Rams. Oh, that's right, Chach. You like the Ravens. Yeah. Yeah, it's going to be tough for them. That's true. They could have. You guys know I was a big Amos guy. Number 1 corner in the draft, I thought. Will Johnson looks great. Morrison looks great. Yeah, it's frustrating. It is. But hey, appreciate y'all. This has been fun. Let's do it again soon, right? I'm going to be live after the game on Sunday. I might be live tomorrow. Might have another video or two. Drop after this channel is up, or after this thing is up. Drop in the comments section what you guys would prefer content-wise. I'm going to keep doing my breakdown series. I like that. I'm going to keep doing my notes after the game series. Is there anything else that I should be doing? Let me know in the comment section below. But that's going to do it. Appreciate it. Yeah, tomorrow is my birthday, so we'll see. Maybe we do a birthday stream. Who knows, right? But I appreciate you guys. For real, for real, for real. So be sure to hit that like button. Be sure to subscribe if you haven't already. Be sure to check out Sleeper if you haven't already. Again, JKB is the code. $100 deposit match up to $100. 100% deposit match up to $100. And I'll be live not long from now, 9 p.m. Eastern time, 6 p.m. Rams time. Join Alexis Kraft and I for Downtown Rams. I believe it's like episode 570. So crazy, right? Well, anyway, I'll see you guys soon. Later.